Hi guys, it's Josh Lloyd here giving you your NBA DraftKings first look for Tuesday, January the 12th in the NBA. Hey, hit subscribe while you're here. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit the bell as well and you'll never miss out on any of our episodes. Let's go into it straight away. 6 games in the NBA at this point. We don't know if any will get postponed in the next 12 hours or so. Hopefully everyone is ready to go. This first game is probably the one that's most in danger. The Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers, with the Heat without a whole bunch of players. No Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler is not there, Goran Dragic is not there. You are going to have probably a starting lineup that includes Precious Achiuwa, maybe Andre Iguodala, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero will still be there, but there's just a whole bunch of players out, and of course the Sixers are still without all of their guys. It is a back-to-back, but because they were smashed by the Hawks on Monday, I would imagine Joel Embiid does play. He only played 23 minutes or so against Atlanta. If you want to look at value in this one, I think a lot of people are going to be getting Precious here, who's probably going to be the starting center, and he's at 3,100. We don't have a real track record of him putting up big numbers in the NBA because he hasn't played in a big role. But at that salary as a starter, you've got to look at him, and you have to look at Kelly Olynyk, who's the only real proven guy outside in the front court, outside the backcourt guys, who is going to have an opportunity. Now, he's listed as probable, so he should be ready to go, but I like him a lot. 5,300 for him. Duncan Robinson's at 48. Not sure if he can expand all of his game to bring that in. He's not going to be like a 30% usage player. And Tyler Hero is still there. Now, Hero is at 6,700, so that's really intriguing for us. Without Jimmy Butler, Hero has shown a propensity to put up some big numbers. We also don't know if Ben Simmons will play. He did miss out on Monday. Doc Rivers said maybe he's ready for Tuesday on the Philadelphia side of things, so that's one to watch. And if you want to go wild, this guy who's listed as a shooting guard for some reason, but he's more of a power forward, and that's Max Strus of the Miami Heat, had some decent numbers in the preseason, so just watch him in that front court, especially if Myers Leonard can't go. And then the other weird one, if you want to look at, is someone by the name of Gabe Vincent, who's at $3,000. Tyrese Maxey at 55. Now, his value does drop if Simmons does play, but we don't know that at this point. Dakota Mathias with some big numbers, as well as Isaiah Joe. Joe is probably a better option than Matthias in most situations, but it all depends on how you fit those guys in with salary. But it's an absolute weird one. People are going to be stacking this heavy because of the multiple absences across both teams. So just be aware of that if you do want to, in a GPP, take a look at it, you might be better off going in other directions just because of just how many people are going to be stacking the players out of this game, because there's going to be lots of them. There's no getting around that. Next up, it's the Brooklyn Nets. They're taking on the Denver Nuggets in Brooklyn. There is no Kyrie Irving again. He will sit out again for personal reasons. This one here tips at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Kevin Durant, of course, is back. So Karis LeVert, 7,600. He probably gets another start as the starting point guard. He played 36 minutes last game, but only 35 DraftKings points, which at 7,600 doesn't really do enough for you. I still think that he's worth looking at, but he's not as big of a slam dunk as others might suggest. Nikola Jokic, Big Chungus, 11,000. We know that Jokic has been putting up great numbers pretty much every game. Like it for him there. Well, Durant's at 9,400. That is probably one of the best high price options on the entire board, is Kevin Durant at that 9,400 mark. I'm really, really into that. Will Barton's too high at 57 in my mind. 6,500 for Jarrett Allen's probably a little bit too high as well. Well, Jamal Murray's numbers have really plummeted, but he is down at 6,900. So there's at least some GPP value in him. Joe Harris at 54. I'm not super into that. I think Jeff Green's going to start again, but that doesn't mean that he's necessarily someone that we want to look too closely at from a DraftKings or any sort of DFS perspective. But there is maybe 22, 23 point upside in Jeff Green if we're going to really squint hard. The next game we look at it is the Utah Jazz and the Cleveland Cavaliers. We don't know if Colin Sexton will play. Of course, he was playing on Monday, and then about 2 minutes before tip, they scratched him and started Damian Dotson. So we don't know that. We don't know if Darius Garland's going to be out there. He was warming up before the game. So the backcourt has a lot of question marks still. Andre Drummond at 9-1 looks to be probably the most solid option that we can go for in this one, although the Gobert matchup is tough. Bojan Bogdanovic's salary is coming down because he's been terrible. I wouldn't feel comfortable with using Bogdanovic, but at 5,200, there is at least some GPP value. And if we do hear that Sexton's playing, now you wouldn't want to use him in cash because that's twice we've heard that he's playing and then twice that he's been scratched. If he is going, everyone will fade off him. So in a GPP, if he is ready to go at 6,600, I like that number. Okoro's at 34, probably not. Conley at 71 looks all right, especially against this Cavs team who is a little bit depleted. That looks pretty good. While Mitchell at 84 is priced on the extreme side to me. It's too high for Donovan Mitchell, who is starting to come good, but I wouldn't say that he is reliable at that sort of salary at this point. Next up, it's your San Antonio Spurs. It is your Oklahoma City Thunder 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off for this game. The Spurs are 2.5-point favorites, and the total is 216.5. There is no DeMar DeRozan again, so we assume that Trey Lyles gets another start. He's only priced at 3,300. He had 21 points last game in a start, played a lot of minutes. Absolutely worth a flyer. He only scored 5 points. I think he had 10 boards, but only had 5 points in that game. Gilgeous-Alexander's at 8,000. Really like what he's producing at the moment. Over his last 3, he's averaging over 52 DraftKings points. And then you've got DeJounte Murray at 72, who really wasn't good against the Wolves, but I do think a bounce back for DeJounte could be something that's on the cards. Darius Bazley at 59, maybe too high. Same with Keldon Johnson at 62. I don't mind Al Horford at 59, who's playing at a relatively high level. And I think the Horford-Aldridge matchup actually favors both of these guys. And I like LaMarcus at that $6,300 mark. Again, remember that DeMar DeRozan is out. Hamidou Diallo has been putting up some big numbers. He's at 5,300. 43 in each of the last 2 games. Prior to that, 18. So I wouldn't be... Look at that shooting, 71 and 62%. Those numbers are not real. He's not that level of a shooter, obviously. So there is going to be some regression, but he's only at 5,300, so he's at least worth a GPP option. But I do think there is some merit in fading Diallo, because I think a lot of people are going to be pretty excited about using him. And that might give you an edge there. All right, let's take a look at the next game. It is not that one, because that's the incorrect graphic. I'm going to have to fix that up. Oh, that's the game that got postponed, the Bulls and the Celtics. My apologies for that. The Lakers and the Rockets is the next game up, a rematch of a blowout that we saw just 2 days ago. The Lakers are favorites here, but not by as much as you'd expect. 5.5-point favorites. The total 223. Both Anthony Davis and LeBron are on the injury report as questionable. John Wall is questionable with a migraine, and Eric Gordon is questionable with leg tightness. Whatever that means, there's no Wesley Matthews again. James Harden is down at 10-8. He's only giving us like 45 a night, and that is not what we want from James Harden. We'd like him to be a little bit more productive. I'm not ready to go in on Harden at that salary. LeBron's at 10,000, and he also isn't hitting 50 at the moment. I like it a little bit better than Harden. Johnny Wall at 74. The migraine would probably lead me away from that, and 7,900 for Christian Wood feels somewhat too high. 9,500 for Anthony Davis. He did have some foul trouble last game against the Lakers. Still posted a respectable against the Rockets. Sorry, he had 39 points, but he's more of a 50-point guy. And at 9,500, I think we can feel interested in using him at least. Not much else in this one that really gets me excited, to be honest. DeMarcus Cousins at 45, not really keen on that one. It's not the greatest DFS matchup, I don't think. The last game of the day, the Indiana Pacers and the Golden State Warriors, back-to-back for the Pacers. The assumption here from me is that Victor Oladipo will not play. TJ McConnell will not play as well. They're my assumptions for this one. So Aaron Holiday at 3,300. Now, he hasn't been producing at a high level at all, but he's just going to have to get more shots and more assist opportunities, and at 3,300, there's value in that. I like Justin Holiday a lot at 5,000. He started Monday's game. Miles Turner at 62 always looks to be a good option with the amount of blocks that he gets. And then I guess you could have a flyer type on Doug McDermott at 3,900. Steph's at 98. I like that one. He's been a little bit down the last couple, but I think it's a good matchup. While Sabonis at 93. That's a lot for Domantas Sabonis. But he is putting up absolute monsters. On the back-to-back, I might fade him. 8,600 for Malcolm Brogdon looks solid to me, especially if Oladipo misses. I think that works out for Brogdon, who could be pretty easily a 50-point player. So that would work out nicely in that case. Andy Wiggins is playing at a pretty decent level, and we've got to give him credit where it's due. 6,300 for Wiggo. The last 33 in the last game. He's not blowing us away, but 33, 29, 27. It's probably not worth a 6,300 salary, but he is at least playing at a higher level. Oubre, I'd love that salary to come down. 5,300. It's not really enticing me to get fully into him at this point. That'll do it for today's show. Tuesday, NBA, DraftKings. Guys, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for watching, everyone. See ya.